Welcome back to another episode of Sports Unlimited. Here with Devin and Hershey. Whew, it was an interesting couple of weeks, a weekend, I should say. Let me be specific.
Yeah, for both NFL and
In
college
college
football.
I mean, you'll see that on our post, but our takeaways from college football were pretty interesting. I think. I mean, can you believe that Army and Navy are actually 4-0 since the end of World War II?
But they're making a good run this year. It's absolutely great to see what they're doing in the football world
Yeah,
this year, especially. Um, but if they keep playing the way they're playing, I can see them making a good run for
the playoff
a
spot.
playoff spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That'll be nice to see that again. To see the service academies back in where the damn we go.
I mean, will they do good if they make it?
Well,
But we'll talk about it if they get there.
yeah.
If they get
But we have a lot to talk about. Obviously, we got to talk about Miami's impromptu comeback. The new issue with college football being a lot of more flags,
there. Yes.
being thrown, a lot more penalties, among some other things. And of course, our power rankings and top 25.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Devin
sir.
finally came to the light side and realized his mistakes. But,
Well,
well,
in my eyes, Texas is still number one. Um, but things rolled a little different this week, so we'll rock with it. We'll rock with it.
all right. Well, let us get started and prepare for a very interesting show. I think it's going to be. But let's jump right in. All righty. So, like we talked about, our first topic of the day is going to be Miami's comeback win over Virginia Tech, which had really everybody questioning Miami and really questioning should have they won. But what are your take on that one?
Virginia Tech definitely put up a good fight. In my eyes, they should have won that game. That penalty towards the end of the game was a tough call, but Miami did come out with the win, and that's just what we got to look at. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, but Miami, Virginia Tech did put up a good fight. Probably one of the best games they've had yet this year.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, they see they can play with the big dogs, so they should take that and run with it.
No, I think I agree. But my question here is what happened to Miami? Miami was arguably the better team.
Indeed.
Better coaching, I think. And yet they allowed Miami. They came out hot first quarter,
Hmm.
14-7, great. And then it's like in the second and third quarter,
I think the
what
defense,
happened?
Miami's defense, is what gave Virginia Tech 34 points. Because looking at their offensive stats, every running back, every receiver put up some numbers in that game.
Mm.
So if you look at that, yeah, Miami should have blew them out, but then defense couldn't stop Virginia Tech for some reason. So that's what gave them 34 points to get back in this game and almost win it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I also the turn the turnover battle for Miami, uh, and one lost fumble and two interceptions.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? What happened to Cameron Ward? Last week we were talking about him as being a Heisman hopeful and being I know I had him as one of my dark horses at the beginning of the season, potentially being, and then after this, I mean, is what's the issue here? Because they should have never gotten this far with Miami. I mean, I'm sorry, with Virginia Tech.
I don't think he had too terrible of a game. I mean, he still threw for 343
Mhm.
with 4 touchdowns. Although he did have 2 interceptions, I still think he had a great game. But like I said, the Miami's defense is what killed them this game.
Yeah. The other question too is really they should have lost this game.
They should have. They
Eh,
should have.
Putting aside that last penalty call that took away the touchdown for Virginia Tech, which that was bullshit, by the way. Like, we're gonna get into that later. But Miami just could not put him away, and
No,
now that makes me question: are they truly the team to beat in the ACC now?
I still think they are. I still think
Even
that
even even with Clemson,
yeah, they'll beat Clemson.
Clemson's coming back. They're getting hot.
Yeah, I mean that's no, Miami's the team to beat for sure.
Well, we gotta look at they play. Miami. Oh no, Miami doesn't play Clemson this year. So
Easy road to the championship.
easier. That means what? Let's look. But when we look at my Virginia Tech schedule, they have Stanford, Boston College, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Clemson, Duke, and Virginia Tech. So that November 9th game against Clemson I think, is gonna decide who plays for Miami for the championship.
I think Virginia Tech just got a lucky game this week. I don't see it. I don't see it continuing as them building to get there. Because Boston College, that's not a pushover team.
Yes, that's
That's not a
true.
pushover
Hmm.
team. Uh, yeah, like you say, Clemson to give them a fight, and Virginia Tech. That's a rivalry, so blood's gonna be shed there too.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see how they play out. I don't see them making the championship game. ACC is whack. I'm looking at the schedule; it's whack, so they could, but I just don't see them. I don't see them making it to the championship game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, somebody's gonna have to make it. Miami and somebody else.
Yeah, yeah.
So honestly, I would love to see Miami and Virginia Tech back in the championship game.
I think Miami blows them out if they meet again.
Really,
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be different. I think Miami wins a close one.
Like,
Like they get like basically a repeat of this game. No, except Miami has a touchdown and they take it away and give it to Virginia.
Miami wants to secure that spot in the playoff.
They have,
First round bye. First round bye.
yeah. Miami needs a first round bye. They need it. I don't think they'll survive if they don't play the win if they don't play the first round. If they have to play the first round. I'm sorry. That's just
I think they're good. I think they're good.
we'll see. But let's go on to the next one. All right. So next topic, I think it's time with the first quarter of the NFL season and college football upon us. We already started talking about who is on the hot seat, who is still gonna have their job by next year or next week. So Devin, tell me who are your first college coaches that are on the hot seat, and then your NFL coaches.
Mike Elko.
What? You know what? Steve
You knew it
Sarkisian.
was coming.
Steve Sarkisian
You
is
knew it was
always
coming.
Steve Sarkisian is always on the hot seat.
Man, but I mean, what do you expect? You expect it to win at Texas. That's what he's doing.
Hey, okay, so then what was the issue with Mac Brown when they let him go? He won how many games, how many championships with you guys?
Look, Mac Brown was like, I'm getting old. I need to experience life. Let me go to another team. That's all that was.
Sure,
That's all
sure.
it was.
Yeah,
That's all it
sure,
was.
sure, sure, sure.
But I mean, Mike Elko is there for a while. I do feel like he needs to prove himself. Right now, they only have one loss, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but I don't think that's enough. I definitely don't think that's enough. Just looking at the team, I still don't feel like they're a complete team yet.
Yeah,
I still feel like they have a quarterback situation they need to get handled first before anything. But that's, I mean, he's not in the hot seat, but in my eyes, it's tough for him.
yeah,
Just being in Aggieland.
yeah.
Just being in Aggieland. And then NFL,
Who isn't?
I don't got 32 toes and fingers, man.
Yeah.
The NFL, like we said, it's rough right now. So I don't
But
think
if you can
that's
pick like two, for sure.
the Jaguars.
Doug Peterson. Yep.
I think the whole team,
Oh, for sure.
for sure. And if I'm being completely honest, the Bears.
Oh, oh shoot! I just Matt Everflus.
I don't like.
No, yeah,
I
no,
don't like.
yeah.
I feel like I don't feel like he's there to provide the team what they need. I feel like he's just there to be there and collect a paycheck. I mean, you can see it in the games with his play calling and everything like that. He's not like his adjustments and everything he's doing. It's like he's content with being called the head coach.
Yeah,
He's not content with being the head coach who's going to lead the team to where they need to be. So I feel like those two coaches in the NFL for me are definitely on the hot seat.
yeah. No, I completely agree. I think at least for college, obviously, I'm not gonna give it to Mike Elko. It's his first year. Although I do agree we do have a lot to work on.
Hmm.
It's his first year. He gets a grace period for
Yeah,
1 year,
yeah,
obviously. But I do have to say, Hugh Freeze is my biggest one. I think, well, starting off from the beginning, it was a horrible hire for Auburn.
yeah. I
They
agree.
have not been able to do anything. And then you got Dave Arianda from Baylor,
Hmm.
and then Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman needed to win against A&M in the Southwest Classic
Yeah,
in Dallas, and he was almost there. I think the closeness of the game maybe saved his job for another week, but if he doesn't win out, he's out. He's
yeah.
out.
I like that you brought up Baylor too. Baylor's been on the downfall for quite some time now.
Yeah,
They've been on the downfall for quite some time. Baylor used to be a team, that you see them playing your favorite team. And it's like, damn, like this is a fight we got to put
yeah.
up. And now it's like you think about Baylor, it's like, oh shit, this is
It's a joke.
yeah, we got this.
Yeah,
Easy money, easy money.
they're the Vanderbilt of the Big 12.
Right, right. I think I mean, they did put up a good fight against Colorado, but then again, like the Baylor we talked about from previous years, Baylor wouldn't let that happen. Baylor wouldn't let that happen.
And then
So yeah, I definitely
the
feel like
craziness of BYU
yeah.
against BYU
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, you brought up Baylor's head coach, and yeah, he's definitely one that's on the hot seat this year for sure.
Which I think it sucks because Aranda is 12-2 last year in year two, and then year three, it's like you know he came down.
Yeah,
He came down from the high. So
gets
it's
comfortable. Like some coaches get comfortable,
yeah,
and that's just what
and that was a
what
huge
they're
problem
cool
for him.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially right now that Texas and OU left the Big 12. That was the opportunity he could have had to take over
yeah,
and really run with it, and he lost it.
yeah,
As far as NFL coaches, obviously the obvious one is Mike McCarthy, Doug Peterson, all those guys. We all know their issues and everything. Um, but I think the biggest one that I completely 100% agree with you is Matt
hmm,
Eberflus. Um, number one, the whole Bears organizations needs to grow up, stop switching quarterbacks
yeah.
every 2 years.
It's becoming a joke
Um,
at this point.
yeah, and two, you did everything correct to build around generational talent,
Yeah,
Williams, Caleb Williams, which he's not.
no,
No, he is not. He is horrible. He sucks. Uh, but even with all that being said, Matt Eberflus does not make any changes. You're 100% correct on that. And then on the other side of it too, it's like if you know your quarterback is not reading defenses,
take him out,
then yes,
take him out.
take him out, sit him down. I'd rather go 1-3, one and what, 17,
Yeah,
1-17 the whole season, and know that my quarterback is learning for the future, and get a couple of top picks. Because remember, they don't have any top picks.
no,
No, because they give them all the way to the Panthers.
just for Mr. Williams.
Yeah, it's like the Panthers did the same thing with the Panthers. The Panthers did the right thing. They said, what's his name? Um, well, Young, whatever.
Right, so
Bryce Young.
there we go.
Yeah, no, they set him down, and they're like, "Hey, learn." That's it. That's so hard. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
But
I think they hyped him up way, way, way more than they should have. Way more than they should have.
yeah,
And I feel like also, the stuff he went through coming out of the draft, all the talk about, he can do this, he don't have to do this, and like that's playing a big part in it now.
yep,
So basically, he's probably, coach is telling him to do this. He's like, oh, that ain't work. I'm doing my own thing. So that could also be a big problem with the Bears as well.
yeah. And I think the other one that now is on the hot seat that might surprise most people, but it really shouldn't, is Mike McDaniel's. Yeah, he proved
Yeah,
on Monday night that he could not switch his scheme to fit another quarterback.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
they're in trouble.
they're in
They're in
huge trouble.
trouble, man.
Yeah, they screwed me over in fantasy this week. But yeah, so those are interesting people. We'll talk about them more as the season goes on, of course. But let's go on to the next one. All right, so I'm gonna give this one to you.
I'll take it. I'll gladly take it.
Go ahead.
Did anybody else believe in Kentucky like I did? I know you
No,
didn't. I know
I
you
did. I
didn't.
did. I did.
I know you didn't.
I did.
They've been playing some great football for the past, 3 weeks. So I definitely had to take them in this game. Ole Miss is a good team, but I just haven't seen them play the type of ball Kentucky's been playing. So that's why I took Kentucky. I know nobody else did, but I took that upset. That's a
Yeah.
win for me. That's a win for
I'm
me.
gonna tell you, I took Ole Miss because I didn't think it wasn't gonna be a good game. I just felt like Ole Miss just was gonna have just a little more than Kentucky. And obviously I was wrong. Kentucky had just that much more.
They fight to the end. They play all 4 quarters. That's one team you can say that plays all 4 quarters of football.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, but what baffles me the most is how this defense is playing. I mean, 93 to 92 rushing yards,
Mm-hmm.
243 to 261 passing yards. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You don't see that. You don't even see that in the NFL.
I mean, it was a almost even game. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It- I mean, the only thing different here was obviously Ole Miss had a lost fumble and the penalties, which kind of plagued Ole Miss,
Yeah. Yeah.
8 for 53. But Jesus Christ, when you remove all that, they were perfect on fourth down. Um, I think, and at first downs, they were pretty close. But overall, it was pretty much the same freaking game.
You want to know what really hurts? The time of possession.
You know,
Double the time when Ole Miss had the ball.
let me tell you something. I don't believe that because I've seen college teams. I've seen Alabama's team, like when Nick Saban was there, their time of possession used to be horrible because they basically got the ball, ran down the
That
field, and
does
scored.
that's Bama. But with a team like Ole Miss,
Mhm.
you got to keep Dart off the field.
Yeah,
Duke's good. Duke's good. But shout out to Kentucky defense.
yeah,
Shout out to Kentucky defense. They held in the 261 TD no interceptions, but only 17 points given up, which isn't bad at all. Which isn't bad at all.
yeah,
So to me, I think time of possession is a really good thing. I don't think he gave Ole Miss too much time to get in the rhythm.
yeah.
So that might have hurt him as well. That might have hurt him as well.
Yeah, I think if Ole Miss had got into a rhythm, it would have been a much different game. But I do agree with that. I think the fact that they couldn't establish the run, because what I've seen from Ole Miss in the past is that they run the ball, they do the NFL offense of establishing the run because they don't have amazing running backs,
Yeah,
but they have decent running backs that
yeah.
can get you what you need. So, and obviously Kentucky knew that.
Mhm.
What Ole Miss does lack, and I think you agree with me on this, is wide receivers.
Yeah.
I don't believe they have any weapons that are worth mentioning. I mean, if you look at the stats for Ole Miss, I mean,
It's bad. They're
Trey
bad.
Harris is their best wide receiver, and caught their touchdown. But outside of that, who do they have? I
Yeah.
mean, do you trust Caden Princeton? He's good. I'm not saying he's not,
I
but
mean,
he's
not for 42 yards.
yeah.
But
Or no,
but you gotta have receivers that put up numbers.
yeah,
You got Harris at 176. Then you got. I mean, if you looking at this, if I'm a team we're playing, looking at this, I'm like, oh, we got to stop one receiver.
exactly.
We know where they go with the ball. Pritch, Chris Kern, he only had one reception. Lee had two. Parrish had three, and Jones had one.
Hmm.
Harris had 11.
Exactly.
So if I'm a defense, I know the way to beat Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Stop the quarterback. Stop Harris. You got them beat all day long. They
Yeah,
can't run the ball.
and I think that's what Kentucky did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they let him catch the ball. Let him, hey, you know what? We know you're gonna throw it to him,
Yeah.
and he's gonna get us eventually, one on ones. But you know what? If that's all you can do.
We're gonna beat you.
Yeah.
We're gonna beat you.
Yeah, I
Because
think
13 carries for 62 yards and Dart 13 carries for 22 yards, and Jones 3 carries for 8. She barely hit 100. You didn't even hit 100 rushing yards right
nope,
there.
no, that's 90, 93,
Yeah.
92 yards. I'm sorry, 92 yards.
So you didn't do much, brother. You didn't do much that game.
Yeah, no, and I think what I liked the most was the fact that Kentucky at the end of the third quarter after Trey Harris's touchdown, who would gave him the lead 13-7.
Yeah.
you know, Kentucky didn't back down.
Nope.
They kept pounding and pounding, and then they used everything. If you go back and look at all the plays, they weren't just running the ball. They were running the ball a little bit, knew they were going to stop them, but they still trust. They didn't run away from the fact that they're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
They were still passing the ball, running the ball,
Yeah.
even if he got nothing.
Yeah, Kentucky played as a team that game,
Yeah,
and I thought that was a big win for them. Big win for them.
no, it was a huge win, and I mean, obviously, Ole Miss dropped in all of our um in all of our rankings. So
I mean, the next tough is the battle to me.
who's Kentucky or
Kentucky
uh-huh.
is until November 2nd. That's Tennessee.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah,
The way they're playing now, I think that it's going to be good games, but I think their next three games are W's.
yeah,
But then you got Kentucky. But I mean,
yeah.
hey,
Vanderbilt, Florida,
that might end up being a big game.
that one,
And then you got Murray State. Then you take
Texas.
on the soon to be number one Texas. Uh, then you got Louisville to end the season off. So I mean, they're not looking bad. They're not looking bad.
If they have the ability, if they can continue playing the way they are, to walk into Tennessee not only ranked, but make Tennessee worry that they could lose their shot to the SEC championship.
Mm-hmm. But Tennessee is a hard place to play.
Yeah,
Hard place to play.
it's so much fun to go to Tennessee though.
Yeah.
Like it's so much fun. They treat us so well when we were there. But yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a hard one. But good job to Kentucky. No, Devin, you got one right
Yeah, I went 6-0 this week.
this week. Let's see next week. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so we were actually just talking about this last week too, but Heisman. We know that right now we've all agreed that there's no true number one,
Not yet.
but
Not yet.
the one thing that we have always agreed on, I think anyone would say that each Heisman hopeful has a Heisman moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you would agree that Jalen Milroe had his Heisman moment against Georgia this past week.
Well, absolutely. That man balled out. He balled out with his arm, with his legs, decision making. He had a great game. I think that definitely put him up there on the list. Like we both said, there's not a number one.
Mm-hmm.
I think right now everybody's a number one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely a breakout game for him, for sure.
Yeah. No, I think, I mean, he was 27 for 33, 374, 80% completion percentage, two TDs, an interception, which truly, I don't blame him for that interception.
Yeah.
I think it was more the receiver in that situation. 191 rating and a QBR of 98. Plus, he had 16 rushing yards, 16 carries for 117 rushing yards, um, and two touchdowns.
That was honestly an almost perfect game for that.
Yeah, yeah. If you take away the interception, he has an over 100 QBR.
Especially playing a team like Georgia with that performance.
Because I mean, if you go back and look at the game, shoot, where's my team stats? There you go. No, Georgia was very efficient in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, if you just alone in the way Georgia was playing him in the second half was so good. They were making him throw the ball, thinking that if he can't throw the ball, no, we make him one dimensional. And he said no.
Yeah.
And he just was throwing, and I was perplexed and hating myself because I wasn't a fan of Jalen Milroe from the beginning. I didn't think that he had the ability to play the way people were making him out to play, and I was 100% wrong.
I had faith in him after the way his season ended last year. He balled out towards the end of the season last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he carried that over to this year. So I definitely have faith in him. The dude's good. He knew what he had to do. this season from what happened last season.
Yeah.
And I think he's proved that over the summer with workouts and everything, taking care of himself. And man, he's tough. He's tough. The Heisman is it's going to be tough all season
Yeah.
for anybody. And whoever wins it this year definitely deserves it because the competition in there is is rough.
I mean, you have the running back for Boise State. Obviously, you have Travis Hunter, which personally I don't think he deserves at all. He shouldn't even be in the discussion, but stats wise, he is going to be in the discussion. Obviously, you have Jalen Milroe. You have his own teammate, James Williams.
I got a top six right now.
But what are your top six? Give.
So just not in any specific order.
Mhm.
So I got Milroe. I got Boise State running back.
Mhm.
I got I got Williams.
Yeah.
Milroe is receiver. I got Jeremiah Smith.
Yep.
I got Hunter. Missing somebody. Missing somebody.
Ashton Gentry, Dylan Grable,
No.
Jackson Dart, Miller Moss.
Mm. I might
Oh,
just be
Quinn Ewers.
no.
Not anymore.
No.
Not anymore.
His injury dropped him off.
Nico, I'm in love
No.
it. No, so just maybe just five.
Just five.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, those five right there.
Oh, Cam Ward.
No.
Right after the game.
No.
Mhm.
I mean, he's good.
Mhm.
He's good. He's not much. So yeah, I wouldn't put him on top five.
Yeah.
Put him on top five.
My top five right now, obviously Jalen Milroe. I have to put Travis Hunter in there for the stats. Uh, Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon. Obviously Williams. And then I'm kind of in a toss up between
Watch me.
no,
Okay.
hey, no. Jackson Dart and Carson Beck out of Georgia.
Carson Beck is good.
Mhm.
He's really, really good, man.
That
He
exactly,
threw for 400 against Bama. And
exactly.
that's what got him back in the game. But he also threw 3 interceptions.
Thank you.
Uh, so of course that hurts, but the dude is good. The dude can play some football.
And that's why I put Jackson Dart and Carson Beck so in the same tier
Mhm.
because they both lost games that they in theory should have won. And then at the end of the day, they both did everything they could to keep their teams into play, but at the same time,
Their defense can hold it together.
exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, I haven't seen Carson Beck have his Heisman moment. I haven't even seen Travis Hunter have his Heisman moment.
I'll say one of best performances was against Bama. I mean, they put up they had a lead.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lead until that
So
17-year-old.
yeah, that's actually when I texted you. Oh man, I was like, dude,
He's good, man. That guy's good.
he's gonna be 19 when he makes it to the NFL.
That guy's
And
good.
we're out here being poor.
100%. 100%.
But would you say that was Carson Beck's Heisman moment then?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
One of them,
Mhm.
I definitely feel like he's going to have to put up another Heisman performance against Texas.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens after that.
And in all honesty, because more than likely, Manning is going to be playing against Georgia. No.
The way they're talking, Quinn may be back for Oklahoma.
Okay.
Which I don't think is a good idea.
Mhm.
Let him rest. Let him play backup until you absolutely need him. If Arch just slip in any way, we got Quinn.
Mhm.
No worries. Quinn, get on out there, do what you do. But I think Texas should stick with Arch moving forward. But then again,
Yeah, it's what they need to do.
yeah.
Because the way I see it is that if Quinn Ewers comes back against OU, he plays well.
Mhm.
His Heisman moment will have to come against Georgia.
Yeah.
But let's just say they keep Manning in. Manning will have to have two back-to-back Heisman moments against OU and Georgia.
Which I think he could.
I don't think I think he can. He can against OU, but that's because OU is just. I don't know what the heck's going on with OU, but I don't think he can have that same performance against Georgia.
I think we should give him a chance against Georgia. I feel like he'll rise to the occasion like no other. I feel like that would be one of his breakout games. If he were to get the start and if he were to play.
I mean,
because that game he knows what's on the line.
Yeah.
Like he pretty much knows what's on the line. And I mean, he's a man.
Yeah.
They know how to play ball. They know how to come through in the big game. So I feel like
he's a man, but he's not his uncles.
Not yet. Not yet.
I don't think it. I'm gonna tell you this much, and this is something that I think people need to understand. He will never be his uncles. I don't think he will be as good as as Peyton, because Peyton could read defenses before he even got on the field. Um, Eli was just lucky half the time, but he was also lucky smart.
Yeah.
He knew that he can throw it and his guy was going to catch it, even in double coverage.
I mean, that's Arch.
I don't know. But
He's got
Arch does have a lot of his grandfather in him.
He got some talent over there. It takes the receiver group.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see. But hey, that's what we have. Let's go on to the next one. So you were enlightening me on this one. Text topic is going to be the Colorado win over UCF. You said that they were like a 14 to 21 point
14 to 21 point underdog going into that game.
And I was sitting here. You tell me your point. I'm going to go here and Google and find out what the actual spread was.
Colorado took that to the head and said, absolutely not. They even went into UCF being the underdogs and came out and put up 48 points against a team that was supposed to beat them, which makes Colorado 2-0 in the Big 12 now.
Oh my God.
I told you.
13.5 underdogs.
Yeah. Yep.
The over and under was 64.5 points. What in what world, someone tell me, is this an actual spread?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's the hate of Colorado, but I think they're out to prove something this year. Out to prove something this year. I don't know what UCF has on their team for people to think that.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was Colorado didn't let up at all.
And they shouldn't have. There was no reason why Colorado was gonna win this game. UCF has no one.
Yeah.
Colorado had the better quarterback, better defense, better wide receiver coach, very poor wide receiver core, and better coaching. So tell me, in what world are they 13.5 underdogs?
They believed in KJ Jefferson.
In what?
I don't know, man.
My God.
They probably thought he can do it with his arm and legs. He's a big guy.
George Sanders is a Heisman hopeful next to Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
KJ Jefferson has it's nobody.
Sanders only had
Lord.
7 incompletions.
Did he even get what is it? 60, what did I say? 64.5, 69. So yeah, they covered the spread.
Yeah. Yeah. That much.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what they put him as a because they knew they were going to cover the spread.
Or maybe they thought UCF had a little chip on their shoulder. Hurricane just came through, tore some shit up.
That's true.
It's like, they're gonna fight for us. Yeah.
Oh, like the whole New Orleans, let's win it for the city.
Let's bring some light back to the state of Florida.
God,
absolutely not.
Oh,
you went up there and got your ass whooped.
You know what? I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna make myself feel better and believe that they only bet it this way because of the hurricane, and they wanted people to have something hopeful to live.
You gotta give the town hope that just got destroyed.
Okay, fine. You know what? That makes me feel better. I'm gonna lie to myself and say that was it. Because I don't know in what world this was a good. And you know what? I'm just gonna stick with that.
14 point underdogs.
That was horrible. That's such a horrible betting line.
Beat about 4 touchdowns.
Worse is that UCF haven't seen him faced anyone.
Yeah.
New Hampshire, some UCF, TCU is the only good team that they faced.
And TCU ain't even good this year.
They only won by 1 point. At least Colorado had faced Nebraska, North Dakota State and Baylor, and those were actually good games. Like,
Yeah.
golly.
Yep.
All right. Let's go to the next topic before I cry myself to sleep in this. Better. All right. So, another unbelievable thing that's happened this year in college football is there's actually more penalties. And I think that watching football, you've noticed that.
It's getting soft. They should turn it into flag football. You can't tackle anybody. You can't it's just getting touchy, and it's getting like it's. Of course, college is fun to watch, but the amount of penalty that's being called for blowing a kiss at somebody is ridiculous.
So last year they were calling 5.82 penalties per team per game, which averaged at 51.1 yards. Penalties. This year it's increased to 6.38 penalties to 56.4 penalty yards per game. And that's ridiculous.
That's huge.
That's a
You don't play football. That's huge.
That's huge. In before October, they averaged 5.99 penalties and 52 penalty yards per game. So before October,
I'm telling you, it's getting too touchy. It's taking the fun away from the game for the kids. Of course, growing up, we're taught to run through the guy with the ball. Now, if you do that, you're liable to get thrown out the game.
Yeah,
Liable to get thrown out the game. So I feel like it's tough for the players. It's also tough for the coaches because there's nothing they can do about the situation either. If it's called, it's called. Coach can argue, but they ain't gonna do much for you.
Yeah, and I think the stats say that the flags are coming more in the second half.
Yeah.
So somebody's coming into the refs and talking to them and telling them, "Hey, you're missing too much," and then they're overdoing it. Like Auburn and Oklahoma combined for 17 for 139, but 12 of those penalties came in the second half, meaning that they only had 5 full penalties before that.
Yeah.
So the question lies to me is: are they gonna let them play, or are they just gonna keep? If they're gonna keep calling everything, then why play? Let's just you're 100% correct. Let's put it as a college as a flag football and be done with it.
That's it. It's just getting too touchy.
Yeah, and it's hurting these kids because then they're not learning.
Yeah.
They're not learning how to properly play, or they think that they did something wrong and they're doing it right, and they get to the NFL and they're, now their career is stuck because they're not learning.
I agree. 100% agree. Yeah, they got to change something up. Like in the next couple of years, or football just won't be fun to watch.
Yeah,
won't be fun to watch.
And I mean, I didn't. Obviously, we don't have all day to talk about this one, but it's I really want to break it down to see what kind of penalties they're calling. Are they focusing more on safety and they're just overdoing it, or are they calling just? I mean, from the games that I've watched so far, is they're calling some that I'm like,
yeah,
come on, just let them.
Very questionable.
Just questionable. I mean, moving aside the Virginia Tech Miami call, which is questionable from everybody's point of view. But on the other side too, it's one of those where you're sitting there like, I'm watching, for example, the A&M Arkansas game. Some calls on both sides that I'm like, how is that holding?
Yeah.
How is that holding? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's getting just to be a game of friendship. Hey, buddy, I'm gonna touch you real quick. Hopefully, the ref don't call anything.
You have to ask permission, say permission touch.
Yeah.
Okay.
They could be if the same players from back in the day would play now, then we wouldn't have football.
Oh God, no! Ray Lewis and them, they would kill have this kids. If you think Ray Lewis was a monster in the NFL, you should have seen him in Miami.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, he would have been red.
Oh, yeah. He would have been suspended the whole season.
He would have been kicked out. What is it? 2000 Miami team, and then the 2008 Miami team
it wouldn't have been a Miami team.
No, I'm sorry, not Florida team. I'm sorry, the 2008 Florida team.
They all would have been kicked out.
I mean, they should have. They were all criminals except for like two people, and one of them was Tim Tebow. But Tim Tebow was a Jesus freak, so
Well,
he does a little too much sometimes. Something just a little too much. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
yeah.
I think it's something we have to keep it on. But let's go on to the next one. All right, so another one that you believe in,
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
I told you.
Let's talk about this man.
The Vikings are 4-0.
I mean,
Beginning of the season, nobody was going to give Sam Darnold a chance. Nobody was.
I completely forgot about him.
I mean, now he's pulling. I mean, he's pulling out wins. Some close games, but a win is a win. Win is a win. He's 4-0 right now. Although the Packers stats were a little better than the Vikings, not by much, but the Vikings put it out. It came down to the wire. But they got it done.
Yeah.
They got it done.
How do I put this? I coming out of college at USC. I thought Sam Darnold was great, but I knew his career was gonna be crap because the year he got taken, it was either gonna be the Browns or the Jets. That's where your career goes to die. That's and then you look at his stats. In 2008, he had uh, he was 17 for 15, 17 touchdowns for 15 interceptions, 2,000 yards, and barely a 77 percent rating. 2019, he gets a little better, but then 2020 he regressed.
Yeah.
And what I hated in 2020 was that everybody was saying, "Well, he's a bust now." When who did he have to throw to? No one. Then they let him go. They trade him into the Panthers, who again, who in the world did they have? They finally let him go. He goes stays with the 49ers as a backup, makes it to the Super Bowl. Finally feels a little, okay.
He learned.
He
That's
learned.
all he got to do.
That's all he needed.
Mm-hmm.
But and then now look at the Vikings. 68% completion percentage, 11 for 3 in interceptions and touchdowns, 118 rating, and just 932 yards through 4 games.
Yeah.
That's freaking amazing.
It's his year.
And he's played good teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously Green Bay, but the Houston wrecked them. San Francisco was pretty good.
The man is playing some ball.
The only team that you can argue said that it was easy was New York.
Yeah. We can't take away the performance that Love had either.
No, Love. I think he came back too soon.
100%. 32 for 54. Yes, he had close to 400 yards, 4 TDs, and 3 interceptions.
What I liked most about that game was that Sam Darnold was not afraid.
Oh no, he's found his groove. I told you he would.
I mean, I didn't pick him because they had JJ McCarthy. I figured that they were gonna bench him, let Sam Darnold play. Uh, they were gonna be okay. I never picked them to win because I picked them to be over the Chicago Bears, but not behind the Lions and the Packers. The Packers and the Lions were gonna fight for the top spot of the division. Um, but I thought they were gonna be good. I like the defense, but Sam Darnold has been so lights out,
Mm-hmm.
which makes me question: Is he gonna drop soon?
We'll have to see.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sitting here like questioning, like, can he keep this up?
I think you can. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna ride with him.
Well, what is? Let me see if I can pull up the rest of his schedule.
I got you.
There you go, right there. So they play the Jets in London next week,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously I have the Vikings winning that one. Then the Lions, Rams. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Then the Rams,
Win.
Colts,
Win.
Jaguars, Titans,
Win.
Bears,
Win.
Cardinals,
Win.
Falcons,
We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Bears again,
Win.
Seahawks,
Fight.
Packers again,
Fight. Lions.
and
Fight.
then Lions.
Yeah. But they got a good. I
They,
mean, they
they
got.
got interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think that his first real like can he continue this will be against the Lions, especially after Jared Goff's perfect game on Monday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
That it's gonna be an interesting one. But yeah,
We'll see.
I'll admit I agree with you. I believe in him now. I believe in what they're doing,
Thank you. Thank you.
and you're somewhat right on this. Somewhat right. We'll have to wait and see.
Slowly coming over.
Yeah. All right. So I think it's time that we talk about this one. Who won their pick between Chicago and Washington? First quarter of the season done.
Washington. That's easy. By far the easiest thing you could have asked me. The Bears lost. They will continue to lose. Uh, it was just a lot of hype around Caleb Williams. That's the only reason he got picked first. And I feel like the Bears are regretting their decision, even though it is the first, quarter of the season. It was he's not made out to what people thought he would be.
Yeah.
Of course, it's his first year. People say, "Oh, he got room to grow," but the way they hyped him up, he should have came in ready. The way he hyped himself up, he should have came in ready and made
Yeah.
easy transition for him. But now you just got him like, "Oh, stats don't mean nothing," and this and this. It's like, bro, you got a whole team behind you. Like it's almost like, as long as I look good, I'll be all right. It ain't about the team. So Washington definitely won that one. Definitely won that one.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, Jaden Daniels has balled out. I mean, I picked him. I knew he was gonna be good. I didn't think he was gonna be good this year because he's a rookie. He's gonna have growing pains. He needs to learn, and he has made mistakes.
Yeah.
He has made mistakes. Uh, for example, against the Buccaneers, he didn't score a touchdown.
Mhm.
No, he had very open plays that he should have seen. But that's a rookie mistake.
Mhm.
Like keyword rookie. He'll learn that. But Caleb Williams, some of the things that he's done, for example, against the Texans, he had 2 interceptions that game, and they were interceptions that he should have never thrown.
But in his mind, he's like, "Oh, that's all right. Mistakes happen." That's where you get. That's why I get. He's not. He's an okay quarterback, but when you throw it in himself, be like, "Oh, I'll get it next time." It's like, go back and see what you could have done right, what you did wrong, and like build off that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go out there and throw another one.
Exactly. And I think what's worse is that if you're looking at weapons outside of running back and offensive line, Caleb Williams has more.
Oh, he's got everything you need on the outside. I think we talked about this first episode. He got everything you need on the outside. He just ain't the person for that spot right now.
Exactly. I mean, Terry McLean is his best weapon for Jake Daniels. But I mean, running backs they have Robinson, you have Eckler, who's both a wide receiver slash running back situation. And obviously, they took half of the Dallas offensive line anyway. So, they're all pros right there. But it's ridiculous. Caleb Williams has everything.
Yeah, he got everything you need. He just ain't using it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. But good. I'm glad we agree. That was a good one. That was an easy one. And honestly, they don't play each other this year, do they?
Who is it?
Chicago and let's double check that one.
Yeah, October 27th.
So October 27th. Oh, in Washington.
I'm taking the Commanders.
Oh, I'm taking the Commanders 100%. Honestly, I think that's gonna be the tall tale of who should have been first, who should have been 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if Jaden Daniels wins, but wins convincingly,
Oh yeah.
everyone was gonna sit back and say, maybe you should have kept your mouth shut and done what you've done.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So we'll see what happens.
Yes, sir.
Next line. Alrighty. So you brought this one up to my attention, and how did the Texans escape the Jaguars?
They played a bad game, man.
What?
They played a
Texans
bad. They
never.
played a bad game. They barely beat the Jags, man. It's you played a bad game. That game shouldn't even been that close. It should have been a blowout, and the Texans let them stick around. Does this say much about? I mean, does it say anything about the Texans? Not really, because they're still a good team. But you just don't let a team like the Jags stick around. You just don't do it.
So are you worried about their offense?
No, no, not at all. Like I said, everybody gets one game. Everybody gets one game.
So then what happened against the Vikings?
Look, it's the Vikings. We
Is
just,
it, is it, Vi- is
we
it,
just talked about Sam Darnold. He's tough. He's tough, man.
you said everybody gets one game, so is this that game or was the Vikings game that one game? Because you said last time that was the one game.
No, the Vikings are the Vikings. I think this was the one game.
Okay.
This was the one game.
So what happened with the Bears?
Hmm?
What happened against the Bears then? 13-19. Or the Colts 27-29. 29-27.
Things happen. We just getting ourselves together. We still warming up.
Still warming up? Okay, okay, all right.
Yeah, they still warming up.
So but the Jags was their one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the one.
You sure?
Yeah.
You're sticking by
The
that.
Jags might as well pack their bags and get ready for Fiji in the offseason because they ain't going nowhere.
Well, they go to London every year, so
I mean,
London.
That's probably their pride and joy.
Yeah, they're actually the Jaguars are undefeated in London.
They look at that and be like, hey, that's the game we want. So,
I'll be honest with you, I'm worried about the Texans.
no,
I'm worried.
yeah.
That offense was sputtering. Defensively, they were making dumb mistakes. CJ Stroud didn't look like CJ Stroud.
That was probably a rest game. Let's take it easy on these guys. Like we don't have to bring out all our.
So they just played down to their opponent.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was.
I love the excuses.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Understand. That's all that happened. That's all that happened.
I firmly believe that the Texans are a good team.
They are.
But I firmly believe that they're running into the situation of the second year downfall. The second year dilemma that every player gets. CJ Stroud is not making the plays that he used to before, uh, and the defense is playing a little sketchy. Uh, I just don't think that any of the games outside of the Vikings game should have been as close as they were.
No, it would be good.
Well, they play the Bills next, which they just got blown out by the Ravens, but still they're still the Bills. Fine, you get the Patriots after that. The Packers. Jordan Love has not the 2 weeks to get back into shape. Obviously, the Colts again, which you almost lost to them.
Yeah, that's all right.
The Jets, the Lions, the Cowboys. No, Titans, Jags, Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens, and then ends with Titans. I mean, if all players can play, by the time they get hit November 18th,
We'll be all right.
it's time to talk about playoff position.
We'll be all right. We'll be all right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm worried. I'm personally worried. I'm worried.
We'll be all right.
I will see. We'll see. Let's go to the next one. So, the good question. We talked about Jalen Daniels. All right, Washington, the team to beat in the NFC East.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It breaks my heart to say, but I agree with you.
Yep.
I agree with you 100%.
Daniels is a very smart quarterback. He's making all the right plays every game. He's a smart quarterback. He's doing what it takes to win, and he is winning. Guy's good. He may be small, but he can play some ball. He can definitely play some ball. So yeah, they're the team to beat. They're the team to beat.
What makes it weirder too is the fact that Commanders are good. That no denying that. But it takes the Eagles and the Cowboys to screw themselves in the pooch to get everybody else to actually be worth a damn.
That's what's going on.
And I hate it. I freaking hate it.
That's going on, man.
God, that breaks my heart right here. I mean, yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that the defense um, does need some work. I think they're ranked like 28, 29 after this week.
Yeah.
But their schedule is so easy.
Mhm.
And the only benefit for my Dallas Cowboys is the fact that Dak Prescott is like 18-2 against Washington. That's the only thing that makes me feel better. Like that Prescott has a winning percentage against every team in the NFC East. So even the Eagles. So you know what? That's something that makes me feel better about this whole freaking situation to throw to help us with the NFC East. But still,
It's tough.
it's gonna be a tough one. I
The
think
Commanders are good.
I'm gonna be worried for next year though. He's gonna take a step up, a step back.
I think the way he's playing, he'll take a step up. He's a smart guy. I think he's taking the correct steps, unlike some of the other past rookies. So I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be all right, especially in that offense. Especially in that offense, I think he'll do good.
I will say though, I am worried about him the way he runs. He needs to learn to slide more.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise,
He
you have
takes
another
a lot.
Tua situation.
He takes a lot of it.
Yeah, that actually has to change.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's go on to the last two things. Let's talk about our top 25s and power rankings. Alrighty, so now our top 25 and power rankings for the NFL. And we pretty much agree on all of them. I mean, you have number one Alabama, two Texas, three Ohio State, four Tennessee. The only one that we changed was 5 and 6. You had Georgia at 5, me Georgia at 6. But honestly, you can't go wrong with either one.
No.
Oregon and Georgia are pretty close right now.
I think that was a T5.
Yeah,
Fifth. Yeah.
yeah. Same thing with Miami and Penn State. I just think Miami kind of got lucky. No.
Yeah,
So
they did. I mean, there was another the T7.
yeah,
For both of them. So they're even. Georgia and Oregon right now is even. So that's why I put them in order. But we agree on those four for sure.
the only thing I think that we really disagree on is 9 and 10 with Missouri at 9, 10 USC had USC at number 9 and Ole Miss at 10.
Now Ole Miss had to drop, man.
I mean they were top 4 last week.
Yeah,
I dropped them to number. I couldn't drop them too much. I mean, you dropped them all the way down to 14. That was kind of a little bit.
Yeah. They gotta prove something to me after this week. After this week, they gotta prove something. They gotta prove something to me.
Well, we know for sure that next week, more than likely, most of our stuff are gonna stay pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Texas obviously has a bye week this week, so they're gonna stay at number 2. Alabama should stay at number 1. Ohio State same and Tennessee same. They're not facing any huge talent. I think where it's gonna be changing is gonna be 7 through 10 with Penn State, Miami, USC, Missouri, and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
They all have they're all facing pretty good talent they could easily lose from. And then of course you got teams like BYU,
Tough.
who are tough. Boise State, who's moving up. Uh, the Texas A&M, Missouri game.
Yeah.
Texas A&M wins that, they move up pretty high. Missouri loses that, you know, they're gonna drop. They're gonna drop a lot, and
100%.
that's gonna be an interesting one. And of course, LSU is hot right now, which I think it's gonna be another interesting one.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then of course you got like Notre Dame, Clemson, all playing pretty hot. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an interesting top 25 next week. But yep. So let's go on to our power rankings. Obviously, they're still pretty much the same, except I put obviously the Chiefs are gonna be number one.
Mhm.
You never bet against Andy Reid.
Right.
It's fat man just fat man for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you had the Bills at 2, Vikings. I had the Vikings. I still believe in the Vikings.
Yeah.
The 3 you had the Saints. I had the Lions. I mean, I dropped the Saints. They completely screwed the pooch against the Eagles.
Yeah. No, they did. They did. It's just this week for the NFL was just like Honestly, I don't see anybody rising. I don't see anybody falling. Just by the way every team played.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I feel like next week will definitely be a little different. But this week was just like, y'all won, y'all lost. Y'all won by two, you lost by two. It was all over the place. So I was just like, I can't move nobody.
Yeah, that's
I can't
fair.
move nobody.
Now, I will say this though. I'm surprised you did not move these two teams, which were the Seahawks and the three teams: Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Commanders. I'm surprised you did not move them. I mean, the Seahawks, yeah, they lost their lines, but that was one hell of a game.
It was.
That was, I mean,
It was.
it was like this.
Yeah.
Like, how can you not put them higher than 10? And then obviously the Buccaneers and what they did to the Eagles. You gotta give Baker Mayfield something.
Yeah, yeah, but then again, like the Eagles will pick it up. They will pick it up.
Jason Kelsey anymore. Ain't no way they're gonna pick it up.
They'll pick it up, man.
I don't know.
He might get pissed and come back. You never know.
He's enjoying retirement too much. That man is enjoying way too much retirement.
He really is.
I mean, I put the Commanders at number 9. You still have them at number 17. I think they've earned it. I think they've earned a top 10 spot.
I think top 12.
I
Top
think
12.
top 10.
I like them. I like them, but top 12.
Compared to everybody else, I think they deserve it more than anyone else. The only other one that I think that I'm still questioning is the Steelers. Um,
I like them.
I like
I
them.
like them.
I like them, but they got exposed, man. You know,
I like them though.
and I think like coming in next week to Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys are hurt all over the place.
It's the Cowboys.
You know,
That game would be won by a field goal. 3-3 final score.
which one was
3-3 final score.
3-3.
3-3.
What? Are we taking them from 75?
Dak throws 3 interceptions.
Nah, he's not gonna throw 3 interceptions. Come on,
First possession.
first possession.
First possession. But it won't be because of him. It's gonna be a tip ball. Watch. I'm calling it.
All right. So if you're right, you buy lunch.
All right.
I mean, I'm sorry. If I'm right, you buy lunch and vice versa.
Tip ball. Yeah.
Simple. All right, we'll see. Sunday Night Football, we'll go. But yeah, perfect. So that's our top 10. Obviously, go to our social media to look at both the full top 25 for CFP and the NFL Power Rankings. But yeah, that's last thing. Well, that is all the time for today. It was an interesting show.
Yes.
We
It was.
we talked about a lot of things and we have a lot of questions. Um, I think it's gonna be an interesting college football weekend.
Absolutely.
A lot of teams facing top 10 teams that could really drop. But I think both agree that our top 4 are probably gonna stay the same.
Yeah, that most definitely. Yeah.
Um,
Unless somebody just shit the bed, but I don't see it happening.
yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen either. And then of course, in Sunday we're gonna see what's up with Sandra now and who's gonna become better, Caleb Williams or Jane Daniels.
Caleb's
Yeah, that's an easy one, but you gotta talk about it, right? It's
absolutely.
what's on the news. But as always, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It was a fun show. We always have fun talking here. Please, of course, subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Obviously, your feedback is invaluable so that we bring you, the greatest content that we can. As always, guys, I'm Hershey. That's Devin. And thank you for joining us, and see you later.